Hey everybody, it's Tamika, and I just finished creating a little mini series about this little book. So hopefully you'll create one with me. It is a keychain photo mini album. It's very cute. This happens to be from my son Tyler, so I put Ty down here, and it's very simple. It's easy to make, and I never made it before. Just had an idea, you know, to make it that I wanted to do one, and I didn't have any measurements. So you'll see in the raw me making this, and so hopefully you don't laugh too much. And then this is going to go on either his backpack or his keychain, actually. So I'm guessing more of his backpack, his little bag thing that he carries all the time. And it's closed by magnets, and you'll see why that is later. I don't like the magnets. I don't like them showing. But when I was doing it, I forgot. I had laid the paper down and forgot to put them underneath. So, oh well. So that's how that works. And then I used the Good Day Sunshine paper. Very cute boy paper. And then this is what they look like. I used Michael's bags. And then the end of the signatures each have a little pocket. You put something in, and it's 2 by 4. So if you were able to take your photos and trim them down, this is perfect. It's a lot. It's only it's 6 paper bags. So you get a pack of 25 for like $2.99 or something. And yeah, so you can make 4 of these if you need to, or make your signatures thicker or make them smaller. It's up to you. But we will make this together. If you're interested in how I did it, stay tuned. So cute. Alright guys, I am starting from scratch with you, so I just have a general idea of how the book will look, and I've never made one before, but it looks pretty simple to make. So you will need these Michael Celebrated bags, or any paper bag, but this particular size that I'm using is the 2.5 inch by 4 inch craft colored Michael's bags. It's come in a pack of 25, and this is how they look. So we'll be using those. Also, whatever paper pad you're going to use, I am using scraps, and even though it's like wrapped in package still, it is something that I've had for a while. And this is the Good Day Sunshine by My Mind's Eye. And it's the boys collection. So it's just says Good Day Boy Paper and Accessories Kit. So we're using that. And of course, like the scrapbook essentials, hot glue, distress inks. I'm using Stampin' Up's Crumb Cake. And if that's not dark enough, we'll be using Colorblock. I'm not sure. Some type of wet adhesive, maybe some dry adhesive, some scissors, eyelets, the crocodile, and oh, you'll need some embroidery floss, something to attach the bags together, and your bone folder. I think it's going to be pretty simple, so whatever it is we add along the way will just be extra. So I am going to do 3 paper bags because I have to make 3 of these, maybe 4 if I make one for Kyla. But so what I'm first going to do, use my decorative edge scissors, and I'm going to cut this edge off. See if this bag opens. I don't like this flap. I just don't like it. So, or I'm not going to use it, I'll say. Am I going to use these? I'll use these. This is scallop edge. These are by EK Success. And I am just going to cut that edge down, just where it meets it. Okay? I'm going to do that to all of the bags. And just to give you a general idea, this flap has a score mark on the other side. We're just cutting to the score mark. Just to give you an idea, we're just generally cutting one side of the paper bag to match up to the other side. Easy peasy. Okay. And then these little books are everywhere on YouTube where you can find a lot of these little key charm books. So just Google key charm. This idea that I'm using I got from Jules. I'll put the link below in the description box of how I got the idea to bind these envelopes. So I'm going to distress my edges with this crumb cake. I don't want it to look too vintagey. Just don't want it to look like store-bought. So just give it a used feeling. Just a smidgen. And I love this crumb cake. If you want to do something light, you don't want to do the vintage photo. This is pretty light. And I'm not being very precise. This particular one is going to be for Tyler, my 12-year-old. And he's a rough and tough boy. So, this will be perfect for him. And the last one. And I'm not sure how many parts of this will be in. Hopefully I can upload it. I think I get 30 minutes now on YouTube, and hopefully I'll be able to upload this in one shot. Okay, a little more. So, that's that. So now I'm just going to fold them in half. Like so, just to meet up with that edge. This will be a tiny, tiny book. Hope you guys can see okay. This glare is horrible. Or shadow, what have you. So, if I can get this to line up, that's when I'm going to flatten it out. So yeah, just want to fold it over. And I'm folding it over where this, where the closure is, so it's on the inside, in case anybody wanted to know that. And the last one. Of course, you can do as many signatures as you want, but let's just start out with the 3. I can always do another one or add to it. So, this is how that's going to look. My three little, actually this is pretty small. And this is so tiny. Not small, but I mean it's a few pages. Let's see. I'm thinking I may just add a few more, but then again, because that's really little. Yeah, I'm gonna add 3 more. Alright, I'll do this really quick. Sorry guys, I'm doing it as we go. So, again, I'm just going to cut off the scallop edge. Cut off the edge with the scallop scissors. Bring the distress ink, or bring the ink out again and ink my edges. Do the front and the back. And this is not the funnest part. I think the finished product will be the funnest part, but I wish they can automatically distress themselves, but they can't. Somebody should think of an invention doing that. Like a distress it all. Just put it in there and color change. Okay. All right. And then again, we're going to fold these in half. Give that a good crease with my bone folder. And the last one. Alright, now let's see what this looks like. I'm putting my scallop edges toward the outside. That looks a lot better. Now that looks like a little mini book. Yay, I'm happy. Alright, so now we want to cut a hole in the crease. You can use, forgot to add this at the beginning, but you can use this tiny thing, hole punch, because you don't want it to be too big. But let me just see how that looks. It's really like, it's like a pinhole size. So, I am going to go ahead and use my, use the little hole on this side. That's not bad at all. I'm going to put one at the top and the bottom. So this is how they look right on the crease there. So I'm going to use this as my template and do the rest of them. And like I said, I'm using the smallest hole. Another invention that could be made, or we are memory keepers, if you're watching, find a way to get the things out of this hole without us having to bang it every time or turn it over and tap it. That's just annoying. Okay. Let's see here. And just try to get it as close to perfect or even as you can. Two more. And the last one. Okay. So now we want to, before we bind it, I think it's probably best that we put the paper on first, so it won't be any trouble. You can also use, if you don't want to bind your book like mine, you cannot use a cover, because I'm going to use some chipboard covers for the front, so you will need some chipboard. You could just leave it, like if you put, like Jules did, she threaded all of these. She used seam binding, colored seam binding, or seam binding that she dyed or what have you, and just left them hanging from the binding, you know, fluffed out kind of like that, which is pretty cool. So, but mine will be for children, so I don't think that that'll work for me, because it'll just be wasting my seam binding. This would be kids, and they're rough. So this is what we're going to be doing to them, and that's basically just taking your thread, putting it through the holes, and this is your signature. So all of these will be gathered together at the end and tied in a knot. So I wonder if, let me just see how, look, we did two signatures and two of them at the same time, and Let's just see how that'll look. Okay. Let's see if we tie those together. That's probably easier. So yeah, we'll end up doing 2. And then since I'm here, I might as well tie this in a knot. So actually, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and do all 3 because it doesn't look like it interferes with the putting of the paper on in any way. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 more. And just thread these through. Cut a little snippet off. And you want to just tie that in a knot, a nice tight knot, because we're going to cut off those ends. Because I do not want mine out. So I've been thinking about a way to how I'm going to do it, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. So I'm going to tie these into a knot. Sometimes you have to see it in order to do it. Like I can think about it for hours and not get anywhere, but when I see it, it just makes all the difference. And then this last one, thread this through. And then to the other side. And tie my tight knot. Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to put this aside. So now we have our little books. They're so cute. Okay. So these are, let me just tighten it just a little bit more. Not so much that your hole rips, but just enough. And let's see, how was I going to, I'm actually going to cut these off. Cut off everything above the knot on your little books. If you do not want these little things to hang out, like if you use ribbon. I mean, if you used embroidery thread, you don't want them to show, cut off everything but the knot. Alright. There we have that. And I guess now there's pockets. There can be pockets on the inside here. So this measures 2 1/4 by 2, I believe. So this outer little piece is actually a little bit short. It's a tiny bit shorter than 2, but I want a border because I'm going to distress the edges. So I'm going to cut it at 1 3/4 by, this is 2 1/2, so 2 3/4 maybe. 2 3/4, or maybe a little bit bigger. So let's see, 2 7/8, maybe. We shall see. All right, so I get my paper out here. Oh, I'm frozen. Must have did something wrong. All right. So let me just pick out my covers. I like these 2 off the bat. This bicycle and these polka dots. Kind of like those. It's really cool. So I'm going to set those aside for right now. And oh, the guitars are nice. Letters. Let me do something with those letters. And this is a chipboard cutout. So let's just wait for that. Alright. I'm going to do, we will need 6, right? No, we need more than 6. 1, 4, 8. But then I'm covering the front covers. These will be covered. This front one too. Sorry, I'm talking out loud to myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 14, and 8. And 4. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to do just, oops, front and back of these. What did I say? These are my covers. I'm not going to mess with these right now. Get my measurements out, and I'm going to cut it at, let's say, 2.5. Paying attention to direction, of course, because I always mess up on that. It is 1 3/4 that way, so the long way, this where this paper is going to be, is the 2.5. All right. Oh, but I want to leave a little boundary, or border, I mean. We're going to do 2 7/8 by 1 3/4. I'll write that down. All this paper here, I don't have a scrap sheet. 2 7/8 by 1 3/4. Alright, so this is what that looks like. Here's a piece of paper, a little surfboard. And let me just measure to see how that looks. Love it. Alright, perfect. So I'm going to cut out, just cut out 24 of those. Figure the rest out later. Alright, so I am just going to ink these edges. Now we have all our pieces. Now you can do a wet glue or dry glue. I'm going to do a wet one. Just because I really don't want to use all of my ATG tape on this. So, my front cover, this is what I was saying. This is what I was talking about when I was going to bind the book. So, I was saying I am going to take my sheet of craft cardstock, and then I'm going to wrap it around like this, so that all I have to do is put my binding, you know, all I have to do is adhere this, and it will hide my little strings there. So that's what I'm going to do. So in the front, I'm just going to lay my paper over like that. I might as well do it now. I might as well. So that was has to wrap all the way around. So it's 2. We have to do 4, maybe a 1/4 inch. So 4 1/4 maybe. Let's just try 4 1/2, just because. By, I think it's 2 1/2. Yeah. And let's just see if that works. So, And you don't have to do the whole cover if you don't want to. You can just do just like enough to fit just this little morsel like this, and then just add paper, which is probably a good idea. Let's see. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and cover the whole book. I like to flatten this out a little bit because it's going to be flat when we bind it anyway. They're going to need to be flat. So I'm going to cut off this 1/4 inch that I did just in case. So you want to cut your, if you're going to wrap it all the way around, you just want to cut it at 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. And then you'll cover your little book up like that. So we're going to adhere, this is going to be adhered to the little mini book. So just the front cover of this signature and then the back cover of the last one. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and use my ATG. And I just want to add adhesive to this front cover all the way around. Make sure you get all of the edges. And then actually I'm going to go and distress this little piece a bit. Just so it doesn't look like raw cardstock. And just on the outside. You're going to cover it up with paper anyway. Alright, so I am just going to line that up and adhere that securely. And if you have any overage, just go ahead and zip that off. Actually, mine isn't secured yet, so I can actually oh, darn it. Oh, hold on. I unloosened my knot, or not unloosened my knot, but cut my knot too close, cut my string too close to the knot. So I'm just going to rethread this real quick. So make sure you leave a tiny bit more space than obviously I did when you cut off those loose ends. Or maybe secure it with some glossy accents or something. All right. Okay. Let's give that another whirl. Okay, so that's that front. And then let's grab the rest of the signatures so we can just get an accurate measurement. Remember, pay attention to your facing of your, if you used a scallop edge. And then all we want to do is secure the last signature on the back. We want to add adhesive. So the very last one, and on the back of that one. I didn't mean to use that much tape. I kept taping the same spot. Arg. Okay. So, get that measured in there. How did this get in there? Goodness grief. Why do I keep doing that? I cut my string too low again. Oh, scared to. Okay. Yeah, just leave a nice little amount. It's going to be hidden anyway. And then go ahead and secure it with some glossy accents. Just a dot, which I am going to do. Make sure these don't come loose. Alright, let me grab my glossy accents real quick. A little dot on there, just on the knot. Just so it can stay. Well, this one has a nice little piece left over, so I don't have to worry about that one. Okay. So, back to where we were. I'm just fitting those in there nicely. And then I'm just going to adhere the back. So it's like a cover. How's that going to work? All right, so this is what we learned. We need to have somewhere for this to go. Forgot about that part. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, if you're going along with me, sorry, but like I said, we're doing it together. I am going to make a hole exactly in the middle of where the other two holes are, like in the middle of those, even amount, in that base we just created. So it's actually on this part. Then I'm going to take this off, this thread, and I'm going to get a new thread, and I'm going to thread it through this signature and the back signature, because you can't see that anyway. So, because it's going to be against the chipboard. So you see what I'm doing? I'm threading it through here, and in the back I'll tie it. Okay. Ta-da! Us scrappers are able to fix stuff pretty easily. Nobody will never know. Alright, so I'm going to tie that in a knot. Leave extra space. Put a dot of GA on it. Glossy accents. Smack in the middle. Done deal. Done deal. So now we have our little book. Upside down. That's how our book looks. Ain't it cute? Okay. So now we want to cover our paper. For that, I'm just going to use this, I was ready. I'm just going to use this wet adhesive, and I'll probably stop the video because this is really self-explanatory. Adhere all of your pages in the order that you want them to be to your book. Just like that. So out the back.